this is exciting too. Later when Regis comes out, he's singing all those songs again. Right? As you know, Disney films are never short of heroes or heroines. But what you rarely hear about are the less recognizable heroes in our midst whose efforts are far-reaching because of the mountains they move or deals they tirelessly negotiate. Our next Disney legend, Ray Watson, is one of these heroes. Raymond L. Watson was born in 1926 in Seattle, Washington. After moving to Oakland, California in 1934, Ray was raised by his grandmother, spending his summers in the state beaches and parks where his father worked as a carpenter. After a short stint in the U.S. Army Air Corps cadet training program toward the end of World War II, Ray enrolled at the University of California at Berkeley, receiving his BA and a master's degree, both in architecture. In 1960, Ray joined the Irvine Company in Orange County, enticed by the company's 90,000 acres of undeveloped land. At that time, Ray recalled, there was a spirit within the Irvine Company. We had a blank paper for our creative juices. Our plans would go from this blank page to the ground. There is that same spirit in Disney. Ray's first involvement with Disney was in the mid-60s when he was asked to meet with Walt to discuss Epcot, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, which was still just a dream in Walt's imagination. Walt needed advice from someone with urban planning experience on the same gigantic scale as his new project, and Ray, who was currently developing what is now the city of Irvine, was a perfect fit. Although he was never actively involved in the development or construction of Walt Disney World, Ray would frequently stop by the site whenever his business affairs took him to the East Coast. And in 1973, when he was president of the Irvine Company, Disney's then CEO Don Tatum asked him if he would be interested in serving on the board of directors for Walt Disney Productions. Ray accepted the position on May 28, 1974. His early tenure on the board saw the expansion of Walt Disney World and the opening of Disney's first water park, River Country, in 1976. Grandest of all, however, was the opening of Epcot on October 1st, 1982. At that time, the largest private land development project ever at a cost of $1 billion. In today's dollars, that's 19 gazillion. Disney, I just know that. Disney chairman Card Walker retired in 1983 after the opening of Tokyo Disneyland, the company's first international theme park. Ray was elected to the position of chairman of the board in his place. It was a tough 9 months in 1984, as Ray, along with Roy E. Disney and Stanley Gold, fended off not one, but two hostile takeover attempts during perhaps the most tumultuous period in Disney's corporate history. On September 22, 1984, Ray stepped down as chairman when the board of directors voted in Disney's new chairman and CEO, Michael D. Eisner, and new president, Frank G. Wells. Ray remained on the board and served as part of the executive committee until his retirement in 2004, after serving the company for 30 years, establishing a worldwide reputation as a real estate development visionary. Ray, please join me on stage to accept your Disney legend.
We go through life, work one place and live in another and so forth. None of that I had to bear with. I was lucky to be at the right place at the right time. Now I see what it is that really is behind this. Thank you very much.
Our next Disney legend, Martin Bo Boyd, did not take long to discover what he was good at. Growing up in Laguna Beach, Bo spent vacations and weekends working at a local pottery shack. It wasn't long before he began making trips to Los Angeles on behalf of the company to purchase merchandise, and a lifelong career emerged. Bo brought his knowledge of merchandising to Disneyland in 1968, where he became an assistant merchandise supervisor. He was responsible for all Main Street USA gift shops, retail spaces, China Closet, Camera Center, the Magic Shop, even the much photographed Flower Mart. 6 months later, Bo moved down the street to assume supervisor duties at the Emporium, which at that time operated independently. When the Pottery Shack offered him a position to return as general manager, Disneyland countered with a raise and an offer to take a lead merchandising role in Walt Disney World. Boyd recalled being the third person from Disney to relocate to Florida in early 1971. On site in Florida, Bo put together a merchandising organization for the new park similar to what he had done in California, recruiting from up and down the East Coast and designing and developing unique merchandise that would be ready to go on opening day just a few short months away. Soon he was promoted to director, merchandise division, and in 1976 he relocated back to California, where he assumed the role of vice president retail merchandising and established a central buying office for both parks. In 1983, Bo was asked to run a new division, Disney Consumer Products, while at the same time retaining his theme park merchandise duties. It soon became apparent it was going to be too much to stay on top of parks retailing while making the consumer products business grow, if you recall. So I took theme park merchandising out of Burbank, relocated it back to the parks where it belonged. During the ensuing years, Bo oversaw one of the longest periods of sustained growth in Disney merchandising history, with initiatives such as licensed merchandise, Walt Disney Records, and in publishing the start of Hyperion Press and a line of Disney magazine products. On the retail side, there were the far-flung departments of the Disney catalog, Disney Interactive for computer games and educational software, ESPN The Store, and there is a quiz on this later. ESPN The Store and the Walt Disney Classics collection, a fan-favorite division that celebrated classic Disney animated films. The granddaddy of them all, however, was the establishment of the first Disney store outside the grounds of the theme park. That's right. The first store opened, as you probably know, in Glendale, California in 1987. And Bo grew that innovative business in 10 years to more than 600 stores in the United States and in 8 foreign countries. Bo was named chairman of Disney Consumer Products in 1997. He retired on February 14, 2001, 33 years to the day he first walked down Main Street, USA for his first job at Disney. He had been involved with Disney merchandise longer than any person in the history of the company other than Walt's brother, Roy O. Disney. After retirement, Bo and his wife Vicki moved to Mesquite, Nevada, where he lived until his passing in April of this year. Accepting the Disney Legends Award on behalf of Bo Boyd are his daughters Kristen Schmidt and Kelly Kieselbach.
Wow, this is amazing. My mom, Vicki, really wished she could have been here today to accept this on behalf of my dad, but she sadly couldn't be here. But my brothers, my sisters, and Dad's grandkids are all here. My dad was Disney. I swear, if you were to look at his blood under a microscope, you would see Mickey ears running through it. He loved everything about Disney. His career, the fact that he started on Main Street and ended up as the chairman, was crazy. Growing up my entire life as part of the Disney family was a dream. We moved to Orlando and lived in a neighborhood that was entirely Disney families. We met people from all over the world, learned their culture, tried to speak their language. My dad traveled everywhere with Vicki. They learned all of the ways of different lands, and mostly they made amazing friends. And those friends are still today keeping in touch. Now, sadly, my dad did pass away a few months ago. And he would have been so proud and so honored to be here. But we're here instead. Now, our one memory is running through Disney World with the Princess of Morocco as the bodyguards tried desperately to keep up. Now, but that day we were just kids running through Disney. And for my dad, that's the magic he always had in his heart. The Disney stores, that was his biggest, most proudest moment ever. Every opening, he beamed. And when a new movie came out, he was so excited about the new merchandise. And I tell you what, he used his employee discount like no other. All of our gifts for Christmas were Disney related. And please forgive me, but when we turned teenagers, that bratty stage, we fondly referred to Mickey as the little rat. But now, grown, with kids of our own, that magic just comes back. And it's such an honor to be here. And I know the fact that all of you sitting here know that magic and have those Mickey ears running through your veins as well. Now, my sister got to experience one of these events with my dad, and she just wanted to share briefly her experience here. But thank you to the Walt Disney Company and for all of you and the fans that love Disney merchandise.
This is just going to be very, very brief. When I heard that the convention was going to be taking place at the same time as this budget ceremony, it couldn't have been more perfect. When I was here one time with my father, I got to see him meet probably many of you. He went home in the car that day and just cried. It made him so happy, and I want all of you to know how happy you made him when he came and took part in all of these conventions. He loved it. So thank you.
So what have we learned today? Well, among other things, we've learned that Moroccan bodyguards need to work on their cardio. Hadn't expected to know that when I got here today. I'm sure there are quite a few of you in the audience today who remember the handsome, mild-mannered Don Diego de la Vega, or his alter ego, the Masked Avenger Zorro. In 1957, this cunning and mysterious hero sparked the imaginations of the television audience primed for adventure. Behind that mask was our next honoree, Disney legend, Guy Williams. Guy Williams began his life in 1924 as Armando Joseph Catalano, the son of Sicilian immigrants living in the Washington Heights area of New York City. Gifted in math even as a child, it was assumed Armando would continue the family business as an insurance broker, but spurred on by his natural good looks and 6'3" stature, Armando wanted to act. His opportunity to step into the world of show business didn't appear until after World War II, when Guy sent photos into an agency that immediately began booking him for print work. It was then that he took on his new moniker, Guy Williams, and began to find his way into the film and television industry. Guy enjoyed modest success as a film and television actor, but it wasn't until his interview with Walt Disney for the part of Zorro that he became one of the most recognized faces in Hollywood. In 78 episodes and 4-hour-long specials, Guy Williams' swashbuckling swagger, fencing skills, and captivating presence entertained a generation now known as baby boomers, or the people who are having hip replacements. Through the years, the series has been rebroadcast on Disney Channel and released on Walt Disney Treasures DVDs, reaching a brand new audience of adventure seekers. Now, after Zorro, Guy Williams went on to play other roles, including Danger Will Robinson, Professor John Robinson, the commander of the Jupiter 2 spacecraft on Lost in Space. During the 70s, Guy retired to Buenos Aires, having fallen in love with the people and the culture of Argentina. He passed away in 1989. Accepting the Legends Award on behalf of Guy is his wife, Janice Williams, his son, Steve Catalano, his daughter, Toni Anderson, and nephew, Nando Anderson. Please come up to accept his Disney Legends Award.
Well, I want to thank you on behalf of my dad, my mom Janice, and sister Toni, and nephew Nando are very pleased to be here and accept this award on behalf of my dad. He would have been very happy to have seen this. I wanted to thank Bob Iger and Roy Disney for their personal hand in this, and Uncle Walt for selecting the right guy for the role. And we were trying to figure out a way to express to the fans who've kept my dad's memory alive our gratitude, and so we brought the sword, with which I want to salute you, as he did. Thank you all so much.
So glad you went with the salute, because in rehearsal you tried to carve a Z in my chest. Cool, not cool. The year was 1954. Disneyland construction was in full swing, and Walt needed a hotel. It is here our next two Disney legends, Jack and Bonita, rather intersect with a destiny that was decidedly Disney. It's well documented how Walt often conceived larger visions than his financial portfolio could support. He and his brother Roy became masterful at gaining the support of just the right combination of self-financed and talented partners to realize a new business venture. Walt's dream of Disneyland was known mockingly by many as Walt's Folly. Nobody's laughing now. So convincing a licensee to build and operate a hotel next to Disneyland in Anaheim wasn't the easiest task. But it takes a risk taker to know a risk taker, and Walt recognized a potential partner. Jack and his wife, actress Bonita Granger, had something else in common with Walt. They each produced television series for the ABC network, and ABC owned a portion of Disneyland Incorporated. But it took more than this to convince Jack and Bonita that owning and operating a hotel adjacent to Disneyland was a good idea. Jack once recalled the conversation as follows. This is a quote. It was 1954 when I got a call from Walt that he was putting in something very special out there in Anaheim, and I was asked if I would be interested in building a hotel next to it. I had heard a little bit about the Disneyland plan, but when they told me where it was going to be built, all I could exclaim was, Anaheim. Oh God, Anaheim. Acting! In the end, Rather Corporation won the bid and agreed to build a luxury family hotel on property adjacent to Disneyland. Ground was broken on March 18, 1955, The hotel opened 6.5 months later. 104 rooms in 5 two-story buildings. Starting rate, $15 for a room. In today's dollars, 200 gazillion. The Disneyland Hotel, originally conceived as simply lodging, presaged future developments in how Americans entertained themselves, pioneering, as Jack's son Chris wrote, new forms of dining as entertainment, shopping as entertainment, and the use of a waterfront setting in an urban environment. The Disneyland Hotel has since played host to kings, queens, presidents, slow-moving Moroccan bodyguards. It's a callback. Presidents, entertainment, and sports legends, and families from around the world. Accept the Legends Award on behalf of their parents. Please welcome Chris Rather and Linda Pinocchiaro. Did I get that right? You're not her at all? Your sister's not here, so I shouldn't have worried about screwing up the pronunciation? Wait, what's your name? Molly? Doll? That's so much easier to say. It would have saved us a lot of trouble. No, I'm sorry. You got promoted. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, tell.
Well, on behalf of our parents, thank you so much for this wonderful honor. And what our parents shared with Walt Disney was a belief that business should and could be fun. And that even a hotel could be entertaining and magical. So thank you so much.